أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. So we now move on to Surah Al-Humazah. So in this chapter there are three main crimes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has outlined. The first one being talking about people who are condescending in order to hurt other people. The second type of crime is the obsession with money and showing off. And then the third is the assumption that somehow the more wealth that you have, that this will make you last forever. So the first ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the word wail, so it means woe, woe unto those. And this describes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's anger towards such people. So the word Humazah means the scorner, the one who scorns, a person who criticizes other people for no reason, insults you behind your back, they insult you in a subtle way, in the way that they look at you. And then Lumazah is the mocker, the person who mocks. So they may mock your family, they may mock your background, they may mock your lineage, and then they give you sort of, funny gestures with their eyes and their faces. And what we have to remember here is that, if someone was to do this, may Allah protect us, but if someone was to do this to another Muslim brother, then of course, the dignity of a Muslim brother is more sacred than the Kaaba, as the Prophet Muhammad has informed us. So we must be very careful. In the second ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about those who are obsessed with wealth and accumulating it. These are the people that they think that they are better than others, and it makes them feel that they are worth something because they've got money and that they are rich. It gives them that sort of ego that they are better than others because they're accumulating the wealth. That's how they gain their sort of security, by the fact that they have more money. And then in ayah number 3, it alludes to the fact that these people, it makes them feel as if they are invincible because they have wealth, and it makes them feel that they have power over others. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphatically says, no, this is not true. Kalla, this is not true. No, this is a strong form of saying no. Hang on, this is not right. This is not correct. These people, they thought that they are worth something, but actually they are nothing in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The word nabadha means to throw away something, or get rid of crumbs or the garbage, things that you don't need. That's the status of such people in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the next ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about hutama, which means to crush, or a crusher. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he defines what that means. This is the station that these people will have, that they will be crushed. Nowhere else in the Quran, so the next ayah, nowhere else in the Quran does the fire of hell has been called the fire of Allah. But here, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is saying, this is my fire. And the ascription to him is that to express the dreadfulness and showing the wrath of Allah and the contempt of Allah to those who have become so proud and so arrogant in their worldly affairs. And then in the next ayah, it describes the flames that will climb from their feet to their hearts. And the Mustafirun, the scholars have said that this is perhaps because of the fact that because the illness was in the heart, and because the hearts were wicked and wretched, and because that's where the evil thoughts came from, and this is where they are devoid of Allah's remembrance, that the flames will go from their feet towards their heart. And some of the scholars have said that this is also indicating that the degree to which their evil was would equal to the pain in the heart that they will feel on that day. May Allah protect us from that. And then we go on to the next ayah, which is describing the word muqsada, which means to close down. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the fire which is crushing them tightly, suffocating them. And this has also been described as the fact that the rich employers sometimes they suffocate their workers. You know, they don't pay them and they just want to get richer and richer. And then the last ayah, it's describing the imad, which is the pillar. And so this will trap them inside the pillar with the fire below them. So as you can sort of get an idea of the fact that there's a lot of vivid imagery here, and there's a lot of vivid imagery in the previous surahs that we've also spoken about as well. And we've always mentioned that, on the one hand, yes, we have the hope and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and of course that's the overriding feeling that we should have, and the hope towards Allah. But also we need to have these images in our mind and have the punishment of Allah at the forefront of our mind, so that we can be aware of the mistakes and the potential punishment that could be given to us if we don't take heed and don't take our lessons seriously. So it's a balancing act between the hope and the mercy of Allah, and also then the potential punishment if one was to carry out such deeds. So the lesson that we take from this ayah is that it is fine to conjure up these images that may be very scary, very dreadful, but it's the only way sometimes that we can drive ourselves away from making mistakes and being careful and increasing in our iman and our taqwa, and having that fear in our hearts so that we can stay away from these things. And the crimes that have been mentioned, they can be quite subtle. How many times have we perhaps been condescending to someone, or pulled a face at someone, and maybe been a bit arrogant. So there's a lesson to be learned here, inshallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from these ills. We ask Him to protect us from these subtle crimes. We ask Him to protect us from the evil of the day and the evil of the night. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fill our hearts with the love of Him and of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we ask Him for guidance at all times. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi